The film begins with the fisherman Circe, who is riding in his boat as usual, fishing. He is surprised when the net brings up something other than fish, and he gets startled. He immediately pulls it out and tries to save it, and he succeeds. As soon as it comes to, it can't believe it's still alive because it thought it was dead. Circe tries to calm it down since it is scared and brings it into the boat because it's cold. He knows how to call the hospital to take it there for treatment, but it fights with him, saying it doesn't want him to call anyone and expresses its hatred for humans, insisting it doesn't want to see any creature. He is puzzled by its words and asks for its name, but it says it can't remember anything. He jokes with it, asking if it lost its memory while in the water, and introduces himself as Syracuse, but everyone here calls him Circe. It gets scared when he tells it that he works as a fisherman in the circus. He tells it that once they reach the shore, he will take it to the hospital because he has a car. It feels anxious and asks if the car is safe. Naturally, he is surprised by its fear and senses there is a big problem behind it, becoming more suspicious when it tries to throw itself back into the water. He calms it down, saying he won't take it to the hospital and that no one will know about its presence. It feels a bit reassured, and he takes it to his home, offers it food, and then leaves to visit his mother. He was going to pick up his daughter, saying goodbye to his mother before leaving. Throughout the journey, he tells his daughter that something strange happened to him, and knows she will discover it when they return home. He takes her to the doctor for a checkup on her legs and feels sad because his daughter can't walk like other children. Afterward, he leaves her with her mother, where her husband, Alex, is waiting. It seems she loves him, but as soon as his ex-wife sees him, they get into a fight, and she asks him if he bought their daughter that wheelchair. He replies that the Child Services Committee bought it. She tells him their daughter needs a new kidney and that he needs to work and earn a lot of money, but he completely ignores her and leaves. At night, when he returns home, he doesn't find the girl he rescued, but the next day he sees her washing her clothes on the shore. He tells her he thought she had left home and gone back to her country. She says she can't remember anything and walks behind him. After that, he pulls his boat to go fishing as usual, and she screams for him to wait, so he agrees. She stands in the boat singing while he catches a lot of fish and feels happy. He realizes her face brings him good luck and knows they will sell the fish for a lot of money. He also knows he will give her a lot of money because when she sings, he can catch more fish. He tries to convince her to come with him to sell the fish, but she refuses and leaves because she doesn't want to meet any humans. Later, he goes to pick up his daughter from school, and she doesn't want to get in the car. She prefers to walk in her wheelchair and is happy with it. He asks her if anyone at school bothers her, and she tells him she is happy and no one bothers her. He tells her about the girl he found in the sea and that he took her home, and they went fishing together, and her face was lucky for him, and they caught a lot of fish. He tells her he will take her to see the girl at the end of the week. He leaves his daughter practicing with her wheelchair and returns home, where he finds the girl he rescued putting on shoes. He tells her she needs a new strap. At that moment, his daughter expresses her desire to go see the girl he rescued because she is curious. She sees him on his way to church, and he tells the priest that he is a recovering alcoholic and regrets it. The priest tells him that regret isn't enough and that he has to quit drinking completely. He tells him he stopped drinking 2 years and 6 months ago for his daughter's sake. At that moment, the priest shares that regret is not enough and advises him to stay away from drinking for good. He then tells him about the girl he rescued and how he caught her in his net, and they realize that she has lost her memory, which is why he brought her home. He also takes her fishing, but the priest looks surprised and tells Circe that he wants him to stay away from that girl entirely. Meanwhile, the child Annie is sitting alone, reading books until Alex, her stepfather, comes to her. It appears that he loves her and treats her well, and she seems to love him too. He asks her what she is reading, and she tells him she bought those books to excel in school. The next day, she goes to her father's house and sees a girl swimming in the sea. She approaches her and immediately realizes that she is the same girl her father caught in his net, thinking she is a mermaid, but the girl tells her she is just an ordinary human being like her. Of course, the girl is puzzled by this until Annie tells her that her father is Circe, She asks her if she has magical powers and asks her, if she does have such powers, to make her better and help her walk again because she doesn't want to stay in a wheelchair. Annie also finds out that she is sick and has kidney failure, asking her if her father Circe told her she was sick or not. The girl gives her something, and since she can't remember who she is, her father named her Ondine. They start to get to know each other, and Annie keeps holding her hand to confirm if she is a mermaid or a human. She asks her if they can become close friends and keeps asking Ondine strange questions, but Ondine answers all of them. Annie also asks her if she knows how to sing. Ondine tells her that her voice is beautiful, and she sings all the time. When she was with her father while he was fishing, she sang, and he was able to catch better and more fish. Of course, Annie starts to suspect again whether Ondine is a mermaid or a human, asking her if she can adapt to the cold. Ondine tells her that the cold feels normal to her, and that she doesn't get tired from it because she can wear regular clothes while everyone else feels cold, and she is the only one who doesn't feel it. She asks her where her seal skin is, explaining that the seal skin should only be with mermaids, but Ondine doesn't understand anything. So Annie argues with her, saying she won't leave until she answers her questions. But Ondine remains silent. Annie tells her she knows she must have buried her seal skin, but she will keep looking for it until she finds it because it will remain on land for 7 years. She leaves, telling her she is going to her grandmother's house. The next day, Ondine goes fishing with Circe as usual, and she keeps singing. He catches a lot of fish and feels happy. She tells him about his daughter Annie and that she visited her. Before she can finish her sentence, the coast guards arrive, shocked by the amount of fish he has caught. They asked him how he managed to catch all that fish, and he explains that he caught it with his net. He starts to show them the net, but they are still puzzled by how he caught so much with such a small net. They are even more surprised when they see Ondine, but they don't do anything and leave. At that moment, Circe tells Ondine that he is reassured she is a real person because he felt all along that he was the only one who could see her. He realizes that humans aren't harmful enough to make her afraid. After that, he takes her to the harbor, and she is amazed by the shapes of the ships. He takes the fish and goes to sell it, then he runs into his daughter Annie on the way. He takes her and Ondine and goes to buy them new clothes, picking out what they want. Later, Annie tells Ondine after they return home that she has a phobia of water and is scared of it. Meanwhile, Circe is sitting with his ex-wife, who continues to annoy him with talk because she thinks the girl he found in the sea is his girlfriend. It seems she still loves him even though she is married to Alex. Back to Ondine, she takes Annie to the beach and tries her best to keep her from being scared, but Annie gets frightened when her feet touch the seaweed, so Ondine pulls her back onto the boat. Ondine then pulls the seaweed from the water and tells her it's something normal that shouldn't cause fear. They decide to bury the seaweed, and of course, Annie believes that if they bury it, Ondine, who in her imagination is a mermaid, will stay with them for 7 years. The next day, Circe takes them to see a hippopotamus, and everyone is happy. While Annie is rolling along in her wheelchair, she falls into the sea, but Ondine saves her at the last moment. They take her to her mother's house, where her mother sits with her because she wants to know more about Ondine. Night falls, and Circe goes to the priest to tell him everything, how Ondine saved his daughter and that he has started to love her. After that, he takes his daughter to get checked out. On the way, they learn that a big band is coming to perform, and they will have an opening that night. Her mother is the one who told her about it. He returns home and is taken aback when he hears music. He gets worried about Ondine and starts searching for her everywhere, but he can't find her at all. Finally, after a lot of struggle, he finds her, and they sit together. He tells her that the only wish he has is for his daughter Annie to be okay and return to how she was. Meanwhile, Annie is in the car with her mother and Alex. Because she has been drinking a lot, she gets into an accident. While Circe is driving back with Ondine, they see the accident on the road and rush to check on Annie. Circe is scared for his daughter, but everyone reassures him that she is fine. In fact, Annie is okay and wakes up the next day in the hospital, finding her father by her side. Afterward, she is taken into surgery, and her father is worried about her. At that moment, Ondine comes in, and a conflict arises between her and Circe, where he tells her that this isn't her home and that she needs to go back to her own. Ondine feels hurt by his tone, so she leaves and walks away. After that, Circe goes to sit next to his daughter until she wakes up. She asks him about her mother, and he tells her that she's sleeping and needs to rest now. After a short while, we see Ani's mother sitting in a wheelchair, and they are holding a funeral for Alex because he died in the accident. We learn that he was married in Iceland and had 3 children. For the first time, Ani's mother feels guilty and tells him that she can't face her daughter, so she wants him to take her home. She informs him that before he leaves, he needs to take her to the place she loves so she can enjoy her drink. He listens to her and takes her, and they sit together to drink. She tells him that he needs to get rid of his water-loving girlfriend he found in the sea because at first she brought them good luck, but then she ruined their lives. Circe feels sad because he loved her a lot during the short time they spent together. He keeps drinking, and his ex-wife looks at him in disbelief because she didn't expect him to love Ondine this much. Circe takes off and goes to his boat, where he finds her inside. He tells her that he had stopped drinking, but he started again because of her. She feels frustrated and thinks about throwing herself into the sea, but he grabs her at the last moment. They go to the place she wanted to go, and he's holding a drink, continuing to drink. He leaves her there alone and gets on his boat to leave. She runs after him, crying because she wants to go with him, but he keeps going. Night falls, and she remains alone on the island, but she keeps thinking about jumping into the water. Meanwhile, Circe is sleeping alone until his friend comes and asks him why he's sleeping there. He replies that his bad luck brought him here. After that, he takes his daughter and goes back home, but his daughter is sad because Ondine is missing. She sits in front of the TV upset. But it's not just her who is sad, her father is also feeling down, though he tries not to show it. Later, he takes off and goes to the island where he left her, but he can't find her. He finds her clothes and belongings near the shore, so he gets in his boat to search for her until he finally finds her. When he finds her, he feels very happy, but she tells him that she doesn't want to go with him because he doesn't know anything about her or her true identity. She reveals that she was a prisoner and was smuggling drugs from Romania and that she was on a boat carrying a kilo of heroin. The coast guards came and assumed she was married, and her husband's name is Vladikavkaz. She tells him that she intended to jump into the water to retrieve the bag containing the heroin, as she's a good swimmer, and says that because of the strong waves, the bag fell, and she couldn't get her breath and passed out. Suddenly, he came and caught her with his net and saved her. She tells him that this is the whole truth, and that she didn't lie to him about anything. He asks her for her real name, and she tells him, Joanna. They take off and return home, but when they get there, she slaps him, and a big fight breaks out between them. Her husband, Vladik, pressures her to go to the sea to look for the bag with the heroin. They all get on the boat, but Ondine knows that her husband Vladik can't swim, so she jumps in and leaves him until he drowns. The police come afterward and retrieve his body. After a short while, we see Circe sitting with the priest, telling him everything and saying that Ondine was arrested and the police decided to deport her back to her country. The priest learns that he loves her and wanted to marry her, but now everything is closed off because he won't be able to marry her at all. The priest tells him that he still has a chance. Quickly, Circe takes off to go see her, and we learn that they are going to get married next week. Ani, of course, is happy and helps Ondine put on the white dress, and the 3 of them are joyful together. And that's how our story ends today. I hope you all enjoyed it, and don't forget, if you liked the video, to support us with a like and subscribe.